Penny Epstein, you have to be thrilled to see all of Lyman's friends and fans here for a tournament that meant so much to him.
Oh my goodness, this is completely outrageous. I might have a few tears
I know,
here.
that's why I gave you the hug.
That's because everyone knows I cry a lot. This is just so overwhelming in so many ways. The support from everyone in the community, everyone showing up, and to be able to raise money for 988 is just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a lot of work too. I know you and Andy Bagwell and Kevin Martin, Josh Sharp, kind of came up with this idea almost over a year ago.
Exactly.
Yeah, so did you imagine it would be this big?
Honestly, I wasn't sure. We had hopes, but it turned out better than I thought it would. And I have a feeling next year might be even better.
I don't know how you make it better than this year. This is great, yeah. And you're going to see throughout, I know Tom with Fox Cities is going to be able to show some of the games being played in the area. You'll see a lot of social media photos. It's incredible. I love this venue, and what you've done is wonderful.
Thank you. We're really happy with the setup, all the games that are here. Somebody just walked in and they said, oh, that lineup? They said, that's qualifying? I was like, that's just classics. And their jaws dropped. I said, please walk into the other room.
Yeah.
Yes, there's another room at Interium, and it's wonderful with Maine and the women's and seating, and it's wonderful.
Big shout out also too to Mike Benjamin too, who's meant a lot, hasn't he?
Oh my goodness. He is the general manager here at Interium and has been so supportive and welcoming to our pinball community and to Papa and to us as people. We couldn't have done this without him.
Well, I thank you for coming on Pinball Profile with me. You were on Triple Drain with Travis, Tom, and Joel, and that was exciting because we got to a little bit more. You've told us that Papa was Lyman's favorite tournament.
It absolutely was. The card format was fantastic for him. He loved it because it really required you to be focused and do all your best games. And it's hard, and it's a challenge, and that's what pinball is, and that's what we need.
I know you probably want to thank many of the sponsors and some of the people. I saw your raffle table, and people are donating online, watching right now to the 988, and thank you for doing that. You can do it throughout the whole tournament, but again, going to such a wonderful cause, the Crisis and Helpline, but you've got, like, the raffle prizes are massive.
It's ridiculously amazing. Again, I can't stop saying how overwhelmed I am with everybody's support and what they've done. From Stern Pinball to Jersey Jack to, we have Pinball Life, the list goes on. And I'm sorry if I'm forgetting you, but I'm a little tired.
We'll get them on the stream for sure. And there's so many. Yeah.
And to have you here and to have, oh my God, I can't even talk.
You know what? We love Lyman. We're here for that. But we also love you, Penny, and we love what you've done. Thanks very much.
Cheers.
That's great. This is Kevin Martin, and a big part of Papa for so many years. First of all, before we get to this event, congratulations on a successful rebirth of Pinbird.
Thank you so much. It's been terrific.
Yeah, it's nice. And then you, I guess, were in discussions with Penny, with Andy Bagwell, with Josh Sharp about bringing this back, bringing it to Chicago, and the Lyman touch. Tell us what that was like.
That finding the right people to carry the torch for these things, Replay Foundation is on hiatus and just has the names, and so finding the right groups in each case to carry on and rebuild these traditions has been a delight, a real surprise, and very impressive. Both events I've come to, and I've just been blown away with the work that they're putting in, and it really takes me back. I really appreciate it.
It's got to be a nice sense of pride. You know what hard work is involved in doing this, and you're seeing it from so many volunteers here and the support of the players.
Yes, it's indescribable. Done it for many years myself, and I would say I'm retired, and I'm just really impressed with everything they've done.
What's your favorite thing about this tournament, and maybe a story about Lyman we don't know?
Well, I think one of the hooks for this is that the card format, where you have to put in 5 really or pretty good games all at the same time, is really an elite format that people have a love-hate relationship with. I hate it myself more than I love it. I do. I can't play it. It makes me grumpy. Lyman loved it, and he had the elite nature to be able to pull it off. And so it made perfect sense for the revival of Papa to be as a Lyman Memorial Tournament. And we miss him dearly. He was a real mensch, a real friend, and he advanced the pinball industry in ways people don't even realize, both with some of the early coding. I mean, he was building routines for display effects in Tommy that no one had bothered to think of before. and then he was building operating systems for pinball machines later. Just his work was tireless and wonderful, and we miss him and we love him.
We do love him. Thank you very much for being a part of this wonderful event, and great story about Lyman.
Right, thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Sorry, I don't have a stool. This is Andy Bagwell, and keep it like that. That's perfect. We are here because of what he's done, what Penny Epstein's done, Josh Sharp, Kevin Martin, and thank you for putting on this wonderful event.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming out and supporting it. And more than anything, thanks Michael Benjamin for making this a thing. So Benji, as he's known to his friends. So he's the general manager here at Antarium, and he is literally the reason this is happening. This guy built a stage onto the bowling alley for us, closed half the restaurant down, gave us a 250 person capacity ballroom for 4 days, and is letting us do whatever we want with it, which was fill it with 45 pinball machines. So, yeah.
For those that missed the last episode of Pinball Profile, Andy and I were talking, and I had first come here last year for the Stern Pro Circuit event, and I was just amazed at what this place was, and that was small scale to what we have this weekend, and you said, just wait.
Yeah, I told Jeff they got bigger things coming on the horizon. He just saw the area in the free play zone to our left, so he didn't even realize about the ballroom and stuff, and didn't know about the plans for Papa, so that was under the hat at the time. So yeah, we're going to be here every year, so it's going to be great.
Yeah, congratulations. I know we're trying to get Benji here. Unfortunately, he's not feeling the greatest right now, but he is a real special person because the business model of a lot of these places might be, redemption games or something like that, but he loves pinball.
Yep, he's got them both here too. He's got a whole pile of redemption games, good food and stuff, good food and drink.
Oh, great.
But tons of, he has 32 pinball machines on his own just normally here. From one small manufacturers, which I think is cool too. You got American, JJP, Stern games, Williams games, some classic ones, Gorgar and Paragon. So he supports pinball a ton, the community a ton. We got a whole bunch of free muffins and breakfast pastries and coffee out here for us every morning at these events. So, I mean, he literally couldn't be doing more for us at this place. So I love you, Benji.
Yeah, thanks very much, Benji. And in a perfect location too at the Woodfield Mall. This place is huge.
Yep, one of the biggest malls in America. It is extremely busy. If you walk out there on a Friday or Saturday, every single spot in that parking lot is full of people. It's a giant food court outside as well. And you're like 15 minutes from O'Hare, right across the street from Expo actually too in Chicago. So when you guys come here for Expo in October, you'll literally be about a quarter mile from Woodfield and Antarium. So
there's a big Tuesday event here before Expo. Wednesday is the Stern Pro Circuit, but I think there's even a social gathering on Thursday. So lots happening here at Antarium. So if you're coming to Expo, make sure you do it. Thanks very much, Andy.
No problem, Jeff. See you, buddy.
President of the IFPA, the International Flipper Pinball Association. He's Josh Sharp, and I love that shirt. That's a great one.
Thanks, man. It's an oldie but a goodie.
Yeah, I think your dad had the same one.
He did.
Is that original?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Pop 1994, man.
It's in good shape.
It is. I mean, imagine a 14-year-old me wearing this, gigantic shirt. I've finally grown into it a little bit.
Well done. Thanks, Josh. We kid a lot, but this is a big event here, and I really appreciate what Penny, what Kevin, what Andy have done to put this together, and it just seems to work. You know this place really well at Antarium.
Yeah, I think it's, you learn how important a location partner is. It's like there's enough quality people that organize events, but as you scale up, it's machines and it's a place. And Michael Benjamin has supported pinball so much here, and we definitely noticed that when there was a period of time where he left here.
Really?
And the new GM, pinball might not be the wisest business decision for most locations, but he sees all the intangible benefits that it brings to the community and really embraces that, and our community gets to benefit from his passion into something that we're so passionate about.
Yeah, whether it's the state finals, whether it's Andy's SSS, the regular league that you have, it's really something here, and I'm glad Benji is a big fan of that.
Yeah, man, he's the best.
Yeah, for sure. You got to be impressed. You've been to, how many Papas have you been to?
I have been to every one since Papa 4. Papa 4 was my first in '94.
And it's moved around. So was 4 in New York? Or was it
4 and 5 were in New York. 6 was in Las Vegas. I was an 18-year-old in Las Vegas. Not a whole lot of fun, but
wow, enjoy circus.
A lot of pinball.
Yeah.
And then the Pittsburgh time, and now here.
Yeah, this is great. And what made you think, boy, I know we now have 5 pinball majors. This is one. Pinburg came back this year. There's the IFPA Open, the European Pinball Championship, and then the World Championship. IFPA. Am I missing one? Did I get them all?
That's it.
Okay.
5 for 5, man. A+.
All right. Well, it's great that they're all back here. And what made you think, you know what, we can do this, especially with Lyman.
I think, Penny, like there was a big event for Lyman last year that was like part of our Tuesday
right?
monthly here.
Okay.
And, normally Andy gets a pretty big turnout for the monthly tournament, but the number of people that showed up to play, but also to not play in support of Lyman was like, holy expletive. Like, the talk immediately after that was, I immediately talked to Penny and Andy and was like, hey, this really deserves to be like a weekend thing. And like, there were way too many people here for like a 4-hour thing. And, we could do, he had SSS going, so like, we knew we could do something big. And I had thought of the idea about reaching out to Kevin with Papa being dormant at the time and just seeing what he thought about, adding a scoop of ice cream to our sundae. And he was immediately interested in supporting the cause. And I think, being able to motivate people to show up for not only like a great pinball tournament itself, but also for like bringing awareness to something that like Penny was so brave to announce to the world when that happened. Like, I think it's affecting people, even ancillary to the community in such a positive way. I'm like so grateful we were able to do it. Sorry for pounding on that mic.
No, it is a perfect relationship. It's symbiotic with the pinball, with our love for Lyman, and again, a great cause. So thanks for everything you've done, Josh.
Yeah, man. Pleasure.
This is the defending Papa champ. I don't know if anybody's defended a title longer than this.
I don't think so. Keith won 3 in a row, which I think is a little bit more deserving of the longest reigning champ. But yeah, I think it's been, 7 years, something like that?
It was incredible to see a young Escher Lefkoff do that. How old were you at the time?
I was 13.
13, and now the wise old veteran here. We're here because of Papa. We're here because of Lyman Sheats. You certainly study code probably more than anybody, yourself and some of the other young players. What does Lyman code mean to you?
If I know it's a Lyman coded game and knows that I'm going to enjoy owning one. Some of my favorite games ever, like Walking Dead, Metallica, Batman 66. And like that era of modern Lyman is like easily in my top 10 favorite games of all time. So knowing that it's like when I buy a game, I know it's a Lyman code game, I know I'm going to enjoy it.
It's amazing because he was so ahead of his time, but because of what he's done, he's really made the other coders have to step it up.
Yeah, no, I think Lyman really inspired other like designers such as like Keith Elwin, Jack Danger, like even probably Borg and or Dwight and Lonnie as well, because he's been around for such a long time. But yeah, his games are truly amazing, and I can't recommend them enough.
Okay, well, good luck in this tournament, trying to win back-to-back Papa, and this will be his 4th major if he does it. Escher Lefkoff, thanks very much.
Thank you.
This is Raymond Davidson. He is doing wonderful things with coding, and I think of Lyman Sheats and what he did for coding and rule sets. You've got some big shoes to fill when it comes to where the bar has been set. Tell us about what Lyman means for you as someone who does this for a living.
Yeah, I mean, Lyman is just known for a reason. Like, every game he's touched has just been incredible. The Walking Dead multi-kill system, just like the Bloodbath system. I use that in Rush with the instrument targets. I had lots of inspiration from Lyman in lots of different ways. And if you're always striving to be a little bit better, you just think like, what would Lyman do,
I have heard a lot of things. What would Lyman do? You see sometimes the initials, WWLD. Anyway, again, you mentioned some of his great games. I think of some of the games that I love, having no idea that Lyman coded it until I got into pinball as a competitor and broadcaster and all that kind of good stuff. But I look at the games when I was really hooked, and it was, oh my gosh, Attack from Mars and Medieval, and then I discovered these other games. Was it kind of like that for you?
Yeah, I didn't really know about it either. I didn't know about Lyman until people kind of pointed it out, and then after that, I'm just like, I bet this game's a Lyman game. Like when I found a game that was really good. And actually, me and Lyman, he would actually send me Metallica beta updates and kind of give me, hey, what do you think about this? How is this? He was really receptive to feedback, and it was great. That was one of my favorite memories, was working with him on that. And he even helped a bug in 24. That game that Carl was doing some wizard mode stream, and there was some weird obscure bug, and I helped Lyman fix it, and he was like, I'll make you a build, send it to Carl, give my regards. Like, I want to make sure, he
I remember hearing a story of him fixing kind of in mid-tournament. There was something that happened in a tournament, and they fixed it overnight, so it was fine for the next day. That's who Lyman was.
Yeah, he would bring a special code for and install it at Papa. That morning of the tournament. He was just incredible. As a player and as a tournament coder. Coding for tournament players, but then for casuals and for enthusiasts, like every single demographic. You mentioned Medieval Madness. You mentioned Attack from Mars. It's just. He was such a well-rounded and moment maker, but also played the game really deep and understood what made things really fun, but still balanced, but just everything. It's great. He's great.
When you go through your track mode on Stern and many other games too, you'll see the Code Champion LFS. It's in honor of Lyman Sheats because of what you and others do at Stern too. That nice memory that we'll always have, and of course, it's great games. Raymond Davidson, keep up the great work.
Thank you, Jeff. This means a lot. This is such a great, come down to Papa or come to Papa next year if it's there, this is incredible. I want to thank everyone who put it on, and it's great.
Well said, thanks. He doesn't need an introduction, but I'll give him one anyway. My dad, Roger Sharp here. Thank you for being, how you doing? This is great to see you here, and I know how much Lyman meant to you.
Very special. Try not to tear up, but just to come here and support what Penny's done and everybody else, it's really meaningful. The fact that it's local for me is great, but I think I would have traveled no matter what. But just a special place in my heart for Lyman. Going back to when I first met him at Papa years and years ago in New York, and I guess in some ways thought of him in a fatherly fashion when he was still at MITRE, and set him on a path to come out here. And then the greatest gift of all was the relationship between him and Penny.
Yeah.
But very, look, very special, sensitive, high-strung kind of guy, but a real person. I think all of this still remains a shock to me.
It does, yeah. I mean, we'll never forget him. I mean, every time we play pinball, every time we go to any pinball event, you're certainly talking to Penny and his loved ones. For you, golfing, I'm sure you think of Lyman.
No, I mean, yes, we used to play a lot. He was an exceptional player, regardless of whatever anybody else might have ever said.
Don Coons might have said something.
Don Coons might have said something. I think for Lyman, he truly was a perfectionist in everything. And he would hit something that would be pure and be like, no, it's just a little bit off. And it's like, are you kidding me? Seriously? But he had a gift. And I think that, for all aspects of his life, whether it was programming, designing, just, playing golf, just being the person and the man that he was, I think was a thing that was exceptional, and the legacy lives on, as it should.
It's fun whether you're just playing at home, casual, at a barcade, whether it's in a league, a tournament, you certainly think of Lyman. And I think of you when it comes to events like this and playing competitive pinball, because you and the late Steve Epstein, your best friend from Broadway Arcade, kind of put this all together back in the day.
Yeah, we did. I wore, yesterday I wore 94, this is 1993. We started it back literally back in 1977, which is astounding to me when I think about the number of years that have passed. But, Steve, I know, is looking down and is probably as amazed as I am that it has taken root the way that it has and the way our vision originally was.
Yeah, it's come a long way. And if you haven't seen it already, check it. It's on streaming everywhere. Pinball, the Man Who Saved the Game, the story of Roger and Ellen Sharp, and Josh Sharp wasn't included. It's fine. It was good. You got the important people, but that's a wonderful, touching story, whether you love pinball or not. And I remember you telling me, I'm wondering what the pinball players are going to think, because there is pinball in it, but it's really more the story of the two of you, and I love it from every aspect.
Well, thanks. I've always thought of it as being Ellen's movie. The fact as a single mother back in the day when that wasn't necessarily de rigueur, and really kind of knowing what she wanted, and I guess for some bizarre reason she wanted me, so she stuck with it after close to 50 years.
She wanted you, Seth wanted you. It's been a wonderful family since, and thank you very much for creating this pinball community, this competitiveness.
My pleasure. Thanks.
With the Director of Marketing from Stern Pinball, Zach Sharp, and I know Lyman meant a lot to you, longtime friend. He's the co-champion on Stern Pinball machines. Thank you for your support with Stern Pinball, but what does Lyman mean to you?
I mean, he is my Yoda. He is the one that taught me everything that I know about competitive pinball. And I mean, there's not enough time to talk about what Lyman means to me, both, personally as well as professionally. So for Stern to donate a pinball machine for this cause, it's the least that we could do.
And it's not just a donation, that's big in itself, but you're giving away at random, and for those that are watching on the stream here on Fox Cities, a chance for somebody at home to perhaps win this. This is great.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like whoever wins, probably Jason Zoller, Escher Lefkoff, they don't need another game. That I wanted to kind of spread the love, so I had the idea and I brought it to Andy of like, how about anybody who enters the tournament? Anyone. My nephew, it doesn't matter. You have a chance to win a pinball machine. So it's not just, the rich getting richer, it's meant to be for everyone. So.
And people buying the raffle, that money goes to the
that's
988 Foundation, so that's
all
wonderful
for a good
too.
cause.
Yeah, I know, it's great. While I've got you on here, tell us a little bit about Uncanny X-Men. Congratulations on the new title.
Thank you. It's fun. I'll just say that. It's crazy.
I saw Jack Danger here earlier. I give him big congrats too. He's got to be thrilled.
Oh, I think he's over the moon. I mean, we still got a bit to go with production, all that good stuff, but it's a blast. You'll love it.
I'm sure I will. Thanks very much, Zach.
Go play pinball. Thank you.
This is Neil McRae. He runs the UK Open, a wonderful event later on this month, and I know Lyman meant a lot to you.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I heard about this event, Jeff, I was registered and I was coming, and Lyman is just an inspiration. A great player, a great pinball enthusiast, a coder, and an absolutely great guy. I got a couple of stories, but the one I'll talk about is we were playing Batman 66 at TPF, drunk, insanely drunk, and I thought, I could win this, stupidly. And I was playing with Jack Danger, myself, Jack Danger, and Lyman on the stands, and he was streaming it, and it was just a great laugh. And I was like going into ball 3, I'm winning this, and then of course Lyman, ball 2, bang, 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 and
it's like he's sobered up or something.
I just think it was a natural talent he had. Hard to think about. And actually, the first time I met him, was at Expo, and I literally kind of went up to him like a kind of bizarre teenage fan trying to get something signed. I went up with a Medieval Madness translate, and he signed it. And actually, it's in a raffle.
Oh wow, that's really nice.
Because the raising money for this cause is so important.
Yeah.
And it's in the raffle. It's got all the signatures of the people who did Medieval Madness, including Lyman, and I felt I had to kind of give something. So
well, that's very nice of you, Neil. Thanks very much.
And this event's just been great.
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic.
He would have loved it. I know Papa was his favorite tournament, so kudos to, of course, Penny Epstein, Kevin Martin, Andy Bagwell, Josh Sharp, and everyone. So, and thanks for coming across the pond. We'll look forward to your great tournament coming up at the end of September in Croydon, just south of London, the UK Open.
Absolutely. Tickets still there, ukopen.net if you want one, but this is Papa, and I just want to say something. It's Papa, but it's Papa with a difference, because they've had to assemble all this.
Yeah. We're standing on a bowling alley right now.
Yeah, and the amount of work these guys have done is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I salute them, and I think they've done a great event to make Lyman very proud.
Thanks very much for sharing, Neil.
You're welcome. Good to see you.
Well, we're here with people that really make this tournament possible. We've talked to Andy Bagwell before, but we've got John Peterson here, and there's a huge wall of classics machines. I'd like to say your house is empty, but I hear you have 80 of these at home.
Yes, I have another 57 in the basement, and then I have a total of 35 in the airplane hangar. Mostly these came out of the airplane hangar.
Again, that was airplane hangar. I've heard the story about you landing, what was it, on Lakeshore?
Lakeshore Drive, yes. Yeah, that was about 10 years ago. So, yeah, lucky to be alive.
Well, that for sure. But stupid me, I drove here. If I knew that, I mean, I'm going to give you a call for the next ride I come to Papa. But thank you very much for your donation.
Oh yeah, no problem at all.
It's not possible without you.
And then Expo's coming up too.
Yeah, we're coming up.
And they're going to bring probably my whole collection for Pinball Expo. So.
Amazing. Thank you so much, John. We're just going to talk to Andy here for a second. Andy, I mean, you obviously know what John means to you.
Of course, very much so. So as you said, it literally would not be happening. Every single game in Classics, except for maybe 1 or 2, was provided by him. One was provided by Derek Lyman and Rocket Replay. He brought out Charlie's Angels in last minute as well, so I want to thank him. And I also wanted to thank Troy Smith and Trent Augustine at Tilt Amusements. They provided 10 new in-box Sterns for us. Brought them over from one of the Chicago warehouses that are over here set up for the event, both in the free play and the tournament area. They've been running great. They were super nice about dealing with it. I just really appreciate those guys and appreciate Tilt Amusements. So,
well, to Trent and Troy and John and Benji, of course, all this is not possible without volunteers, without people making donations. I want to thank you both. Thanks very much. This is Funky Fresh, Fred Richardson, who is volunteering his time here at this wonderful Papa event, and I know Lyman meant a lot to you.
Absolutely. Very good friend, and couldn't be happier to be here this weekend.
In fact, I think if I play one of his great coded games in Spider-Man, I can see a Fred Richardson name on there on a default.
A little FR might have been in there, yeah. And I wasn't on a lot of games, but that was one of them. Definitely happy about that.
So tell us about back in the day with Lyman.
Sure. You know, a lot of us OGs came around in the 90s, and we all kind of met during that time, sort of 92, 93 until 99. And part of why I'm here this weekend is the magic of what that time was. And I had kind of forgotten, in a sense, of what really drew me to pinball, that got me so excited about it, because I've been an advocate for so long, and I've been in the business for so long, you kind of lose touch a lot of times of what it was. What was that spark, that magic? And I mean, without being, too obvious here, a big piece of that for me was Lyman. First seeing him at my first tournament in 92, IFBA 2, and watching this guy and the stance and the focus, it was like, who is he? How is he playing? And then fast forward the next year, Papa 3, first time in New York, which he won. We were actually getting ready to play him in doubles. We were supposed to finish doubles before that. Paul Madison and I were a team, and we're in the finals. We were supposed to play Lyman, and all of a sudden it was, no, he's got to go to finals in the singles. So we had to sit there and watch that match, and it was really cool. But he came back on the last game and won. It was sort of a surprise because it wasn't like he was leading or anything. But then to watch the press and the people and the reporters, and the next day on the Today Show with Brian Gumbel.
And the way he handled it. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing was, back
you are
then,
also more than welcome to set up your own hotspot on your cellular phone and use that too.
You can have a hotspot if you're watching at home here.
I like
Just
that.
Don't use the Wi-Fi at Intarium.
That's Andy Bagwell, folks, interrupting Fred's great story. But you were saying about Papa 3 and, yeah, the media and the way he handled things.
Well, and it was so magic, because to me it was like, this is what pinball could be. It could be on this stage. It wasn't the celebrities. It wasn't, Brooke Shields being there and Elle McPherson, the cast from Tommy and all of that. That was really neat, but it was like, pinball was up here.
Yeah, he set the bar, Fred, and certainly magic was the word you used. You're creating some magic in South Carolina.
Hey.
Go check out Bang Back Pinball Lounge. It's wonderful. I've run events there, and thanks for coming up here to volunteer your time to be here at this great event.
Of course, I'm glad to be here. Good to see you, Jeff.
This is Mike Vinacore, and he works at Stern, and he's at Stern. I've heard you tell the story before, but let's share right now. Lyman Sheats was a big part of that.
Lyman Sheats was very instrumental in me, the current phase of my career. So I've been at Stern for 7.5 years, 7 3/4. But back up 10 years before that, that's when Lyman started lobbying for them to hire me.
Well, you had history going back to the Williams days. Explain that.
Yeah, so I met Lyman in the late 90s. I started working at Williams in 1994. He came in there not too long after me, I think. And we met, I was probably in there a couple of years. I used to hang out in the pinball building a lot. I worked in video. And I started playing games with him at the bottom of the stairs. And he was, at the time, like the best pinball player I'd ever seen in my life. Still one of the best I've ever seen. We struck up a friendship and he used to play games together all the time. Then we played in a league together, and then he was a great friend to me for 25 years right up until he passed.
Always had your back too when you were out of work and stuff. He said, you know what, we got to get you, and he was bugging Gomez, I believe, George Gomez.
Absolutely, yeah. So when I left Midway Games in 2001, I started doing console video game design for this one game studio that went out of business 4 years later. As soon as I lost that job, Lyman was, asking George, like, hey, let me, even before George, like he was asking, he tried to get me a job in the lab, anything he could think I could do, because he felt I'd be good at it. We shared a lot of similar feelings about pinball design, and we loved games, And he even went so far as to once pitch to George Gomez. He's went to George and he said, I will teach him how to do display effects just so he can work on games with me. Even though he's not a programmer, I could teach him how to do that so we can give him a job. And George is like, I would love to hire him, but I want to hire a programmer to do programmer things. We'll hire Mike when the time is right, when we got something that's a better fit. And thankfully that day came, but I wouldn't be standing here as a Stern employee talking to you right now if it wasn't for Lyman.
And look at that, because of you and because of Lyman, we're enjoying games like Bond, which is fantastic. It's really developed since it first came out. So you always kind of think of Lyman and what he did. And that's a nice personal touch story too, always having your back.
It is like a lot of the stuff that everybody seems to like about James Bond, a lot of that stuff that I designed for that game I designed in such a way because a lot of that was stuff that Lyman taught and influenced me. All the different risk and reward things I did in the various modes and stuff. When I was given the lead design role for the rules on that game, I really wanted it. I was hoping people would like it, and then I really, in my head, I'm like, I would want this game to be something that Lyman would be proud that I did,
and I'm sure
as the guy that brought me in, and also that influenced me.
Yeah. Mike, thanks for sharing your story.
It was absolutely my pleasure.
Thanks. This guy has to be pretty thrilled. It's Mark Seiden from Jersey Jack Pinball, and his new pinball machine is coming out this month. We'll get to that in a second, but Mark, I years ago played your Metroid at Pintastic, and I was like, wow, that was fun. Did you ever think you'd be at this position now, making a pinball machine for a major company?
I had hoped I'd be in this position, but no, I never really, this is a dream come true.
Yeah. Well, I know Eric Minier saw that game and he said, we got to start talking here.
Yeah, he hit me up on Facebook like, hey, you want to talk pinball? I was like, yeah, I want to talk pinball.
Oh, that's good. So, I mean, this is your baby. It's coming out with Avatar. It's been announced, and we're going to see it very soon.
Yeah, very soon. It's you're going to see everything next Thursday, actually, like the 12th.
Wow. Well, we'll be watching for sure. Now, I wanted to bring you on here because Jersey Jack is a huge supporter. I obviously know Joe Katz and Keith Johnson, who are longtime friends of Lyman, and I'm not sure your connection with him, but there is a real bond. Doesn't matter what company you're with, whether it comes to a developer or a coder, when it comes to Lyman Sheats. What does Lyman mean to you?
Oh, Lyman, one time at Pintastic, I got to talk to Lyman about pinball for 2 hours. He's it was an inspiration. I wish I could have. Wish I could have talked longer. I wish I could have met him longer. It's very sad. Yeah.
But we'll always remember him, and we've always got his great games and this wonderful tournament in his honor and stuff. And again, Jersey Jack, a big part. Jersey Jack Pinball is donating a game to give away at random. That's huge.
So yeah, we got a Godfather, Ellie, donated for the raffle. So I mean, this is amazing. I'm so happy that we could do that.
Well, congratulations. Best of luck to you at Jersey Jack.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to everybody playing the game. Thank you.
We'll see Avatar soon. Thanks.
All right, thanks.
We're with longtime Lyman Sheats friend Don Coons, and Don's got some interesting stories, but you met him years ago, back in '93 on an old website.
Right. Yeah, I met him through Usenet News Group when he was still in Boston, so before he came to work for Data East at the time. So
you were trying to buy a game or something?
Yeah, we were buying Adam's Family, and both of us were buying a new game, and we were kind of going back and forth on pricing. And ended up getting a pretty good price here, but they wouldn't sell to him, so he ended up buying a game out there.
Well, that turned into a long friendship, and I know that quite often you would golf with him, and there was a nice little foursome there. We don't know much about Lyman the golfer.
Yeah.
He was a perfectionist. I assume he was the same in golf.
He was the same in golf. So the very first time I golfed with him, I think we had some conversation, and I was talking about golf, and he's like, I'll go with you. So we went and we played 9 holes, and he shot like in the mid-50s, and I was like, all right, he's not really a very good golfer. Like later on that week, he called me, he goes, that was really fun. Let's go again next weekend. I'm like, that's fine. So we went the next weekend, and he shot like a 41.
That's a heck of an improvement in that.
And I remember we got done, and I looked at him, and I'm like, you've played this before. He goes, oh yeah, I was on the golf team in high school. I was almost a scratch golfer. So
was that for money, that game?
No, it was not
thank
for
goodness.
money. No. Although he did like gambling because we had many trips to the casino. So
that's good.
But that's another story entirely. So yeah, so it ended up being Lyman, myself, and Roger Sharp would play like almost every Saturday. And the problem with Lyman's golf was he got to a certain point and he couldn't get better, and he would get frustrated. So, there was a couple times where, he'd throw a club and he'd disappear for a couple holes, and I'd look at Roger and I'd be like, is he coming back? And, I remember one time in particular, he was gone for like 5 holes, and we were playing with some random guy, and the guy's like, where did your friend go? And we're like, we don't know.
He's doing his thing.
Yeah, he's doing his thing, and sure enough, he comes back and he looks at me, he goes, well, I paid for a whole round, I might as well play. Yeah. But he had some great scores. I mean, he was very capable of shooting low 80s. He hit some incredible shots, and yeah, it was just kind of our regular Saturday thing with Roger. So some really good times that I'll cherish forever, basically. Yeah.
Thanks very much for sharing, Don.
Yep, no problem.